Well, the EFF has joined a chorus of people who argue that President Cyril Ramaphosa has a case to answer in relation to a robbery that took place at his Phala Phala farm. The party held a media briefing yesterday where they released a video of the 2020 crime and called for the president to step down pending investigations. So last week, former spy boss Arthur Fraser laid criminal charges against the president for allegedly concealing the theft of about $4 million from his farm. Fraser claims the robbery, or rather the robbers, were illegally detained, tortured, and then paid for their silence. Ramaphosa has denied this, maintaining that he's done nothing wrong. But what could be the political fallout of the scandal? Let's speak to analyst Ongama Mtimka, who joins us via our video link this morning. So, Ongama, several days later now, since Arthur Fraser released that bombshell affidavit, are we any clearer about what exactly happened at the president's farm? What the president's obligations were insofar as what happened at his farm, and whether he met those obligations?
Sure. Good morning, Michelle and your viewers. Unlike many others before it, I think that this affidavit, the opening of the case by Arthur Fraser, is the first to potentially stick and have consequence as far as the president's political standing is concerned. Previously, I mean, if you look at Marikana, there was enough room for plausible deniability. The concomitant action could be seen to be something that was, the mass killings that followed his email for concomitant action can be seen to be something which was greater than what he would have envisaged, really, when he wrote. If you look at the Glencore issue, there's been enough room for him to actually, again, plead plausible deniability, as well as the fact that he had already, severed ties officially with Glencore, among other things. It's the first one to Arthur Fraser's latest salvo is the first to directly implicate the president, in the sense that this is on his property. The extent to which there can be plausible deniability of knowledge and ignorance about what since happened is very limited in this extent. And I think I agree with the sentiments, especially raised from the three main political parties, opposition political parties, EFF, DA, and UDM, that the president has got to be held accountable here. Your question about the obligations, his obligations. So he's saying these were sales of gain. Question is, one, were those sales declared? Were they recorded? And in terms of exchange control, foreign exchange control, was it in compliance, with the Reserve Bank processes in terms of how much foreign currency can be brought into the country and how it should be held? I think there's a period in which if you have foreign currency, you must exchange it. And then also whether the revenue collector has been given its dues from the sale. And for me, the last one is the dubious decision to keep huge amounts of cash and not bank it. It doesn't seem plausible from somebody who is a shrewd business person who would want to keep their money such that at least at least it actually bears interest for him. Businesses focus a lot on this, on making sure that cash is kept where it can actually bring some returns, however marginal. So the mattress or furniture approach, is just not plausible, and I don't think the president's answers would survive cross-examination at this stage.
No, certainly. There's definitely a case to answer, as you say, and that issue of the mattress and couches and stashing money inside his furniture, it just doesn't make sense. The president has come out and said, he's been asked plainly, Mr. President, have you violated exchange control laws? That was something that he came out and said, absolutely not. His conscience doesn't allow him to steal money either. Of course, the issue of stealing money is not an issue that's come up in relation to the robbery at his farm, Ongama. But when he has spoken publicly about this saga at the Limpopo conference, and then when he was doorstopped by journalists, he went on and on about the fact that he would never steal money. That's not the question we're asking here, Mr. President.
Well, for his sake, that's flattering, by the way. For his sake, I hope he's right. However, we cannot take his word for it. To me, the key question is, what is the motive for the cover-up and the secrecy? If it was security concerns, it's simple to deal with security concerns after an exposure. You make sure that you are not as exposed anymore, which is don't keep huge amounts of cash in your house, and then beef up security. But the one of alleged investigation using privately the status, the security apparatus that the president has, okay, and then secondly, allegedly intimidating witnesses and use mechanisms, as it is alleged, which are not in line with human rights principles and processes of how you can conduct investigations. It's almost like, a spy world type of tactics, to alleged torture, among other things. And then last one for me, which is bizarre and in fact should be telling about the true extent of the source of the funds, is the alleged attempt to bribe these people to be silent about the incident. And in fact, what corroborates a possibility that could have been the case is the fact that there's been alleged attempts by the president collaborating with the Namibians, his Namibian counterpart, to actually keep this hush-hush and also facilitate extradition without following, the ordinary processes. So all of those things to me suggest that there may be something in his declaration that actually is worth probing further. So not stealing money, I mean, that's what he says, but the way in which this alleged cover-up happens suggests that there must be either security concerns, which I've already addressed from what would a reasonable person would have done, and then also the cover up for the shame that this would bring, given the source of the funds. So that's the only thing left for me that's unanswered, is why go to those extents allegedly to try and keep this below the radar.
And then, of course, there's the issue of the person who's behind these revelations. There's the issue of the character of Arthur Fraser. But multiple things can be true at the same time, right? Arthur Fraser's character can be under question, and this robbery and cover-up may well have happened at the president's property.
So we can even go to the extent of accepting that Arthur Fraser is on the opposing political side to President Cyril Ramaphosa, and still be able to apply ourselves to whether or not the allegations he's raised are true. So in politics, there shouldn't be anybody who's surprised about the true intentions of people who start motions against them that may actually undermine their careers. Otherwise, they shouldn't be in politics. So the motives will be there, and I doubt that while Arthur Fraser is saying it in his affidavit that it is pursuant to our constitutional democracy, protecting our constitutional democracy and the rule of law, he may very well have political intentions. But that's besides the point as far as I'm concerned, because ultimately it's the courts of our country that are competent to separate between to be the final arbiters in disputes.
Yeah, in a country such as ours, multiple things can be true at the same time. It's of course the elective conference as well for the African National Congress. in December. The EFF's Julius Malema yesterday in that media briefing saying that the timing of the Gupta's arrest even should be looked at through a particular lens in light of these allegations against the president. I mean, what do you make of that, Ongama?
Yeah,
Could it be that something as big in the context of state capture as the arrest of the alleged architects behind state capture may well have just been a sideshow to the president?
To me, that's really trivializing the pain of South Africans and what they rank as important for Julius Malema to regard the arrest of the Guptas as reported by Interpol, as a trivial issue. There should never be this tendency that politicians do of creating whataboutisms and binaries and, in fact, trivializing the pain of South Africans as far as the real issues that confront them are concerned. So, indeed, it may be a coincidence. It may even be something which was timed to, deflect attention. However, we do need them to be arrested if the state has gotten to a stage where it has got credible evidence to prosecute, the Guptas. And also, Michelle, even so, when the Sunday Independent revealed before the Fraser affidavit that Fraser was going to be arrested on the basis of explosive information that he had, right? So my view is that if the state had credible information not related to this issue against Arthur Fraser, he must go ahead and be arrested if he was going to be arrested 2-3 weeks ago before he, had the affidavit on the basis of a different case. There shouldn't be, sometimes you've got to deal with the contradictions of you had planned something, someone does something that frames your action in a different light than you would have liked it to be seen. So be it. That's the nature of society that we live in. There are contradictions. It would be a problem if the allegations that are there against Fraser are flimsy. But if there's credible allegations against him, which may be different from what the independent media group had suggested would be the rationale for his arrest, you must go ahead and be arrested. The people will frame that action as if it is an attempt to persecute a whistleblower. And we know that there are issues that have arisen over many years about his role as a former spy agency, among other things. So the point I'm making is that you cannot avoid people labeling processes different from what their true intentions are. However, the fact that we've got a constitutional democracy where courts are independent and can make independent judgments based on cases before them should serve as comfort for all of us.
Ongama Mtimka, let me thank you for your time this morning. Political analyst giving us his take there on what's happening insofar as the president's robbery at his Phala Phala farm and the political implications. Ongama, thanks very much for your time.